All right, folks, welcome back. This is JE Live, and we're here. It's August 20th. We're here to talk about the Rams-Texans game that I was trying to talk about after the game. I ended up passing out because I was exhausted. So we're here at noon because, well, I wanted to get it out as soon as possible. I wanted to get on here, get talking about this game, giving you my thoughts. And, of course, the Rams lost, and some people are upset about that. I really could care less. It's a preseason game. You're not going to go undefeated. You don't want to go undefeated. Normally, that's not a good sign. Yeah. Very, very good stuff there from Perkins. Appreciate you hitting the like, Stan. Everyone's still pushing for Perkins at QB2. Seems that way. What's up, Eric? Welcome, everyone. Welcome. So, we're going to be talking about the game. We're going to be talking about it. I'm going to be answering your questions, your comments, your concerns, all of that goodness. Rams lost 24-20. And I think we definitely learned some things about this team. We learned some things about the depth of this team, I think. I think when you look at it, going through, the box score, Wolford going 14 of 22 for 142 yards. He was sacked 5 times. And then you have Perkins, who had 11 of 13 for 123, 9.5 average. And he was sacked once, 106.1 passer rating. They kept Perkins way cleaner than last week. Can we just start off by saying that? They did a way better job keeping Perkins upright than last week. Now, to be fair to John Wolford, because I know he's going to get a lot of flack for getting sacked as much as he was and all of that, but I'm going to tell you right now, John Wolford went up against the starting defense of the Houston Texans. So starting defense versus the backup offensive line for the Rams, it's not going to go over well. So what did we learn from this game? What did we learn? Okay. First off, offensive line. Really, really hard to evaluate the offensive line. I understand there's a lot of people that are saying, Bruss was terrible and so forth and all of that. Here's what I'll say about this, okay? It's hard to evaluate the offensive line because when you look at it, the offensive line as a whole is not a good unit, right? From left to right, it's not a good unit. The backup offensive line is not good altogether. However, how do you think Logan Bruss would do next to Havenstein versus how he did it with Bobby Evans? I think we know that Bobby Evans played himself off this roster. I mean, let's be honest here. Alaric Jackson, as great as he looked when live bullets were flying in the regular season last year, hasn't looked the same in preseason. Now, the pessimists would say that he has fallen off and he just isn't very good and he was a fluke. But I think the realist, not just the optimist, the realist would understand that it's a lot easier to play next to David Edwards than it is to play next to, whoever's at guard for the Rams in preseason. And so, obviously he didn't have the success he had during that time. We learned this, folks. If you were with the Rams back in the St. Louis days, we learned this. Joe Barksdale. Does that ring a bell? The right tackle. Joe Barksdale played next to Davin Joseph with the Rams. Barksdale was a really good right tackle for the Rams, but he played next to Davin Joseph, who was a human turnstile at the end of his career. To be fair, he was a good player when he was, in his prime. This was at the end of Davin Joseph's career, and he wasn't very good. So because of his struggles, it actually bled into the game of Joe Barksdale. Which unfortunately left to him basically being off the roster. He went to the Chargers and was pretty solid, but he got kicked off the roster essentially because, well, Davin Joseph made him look not so great. So, what are my thoughts on the offensive line? Those are my thoughts on the offensive line. Not everybody deserves this pass. I'm not saying everybody, but when you look at it, you have to understand something. The offensive line, and I understand, people are going to have an issue with it. But at the end of the day, the offensive line is not going to be this 5. And these guys on the starting line, filled into certain spots are going to play a lot better with the help around them than they would in preseason. So I understand the struggles. Trust me, it's hard to watch. It's hard to evaluate. I think it really hurt, Bryce Perkins and last week, and really hurt Wolford this week. It's impossible to evaluate those two. They're not going to cut Perkins. It's going to be those three quarterbacks. I don't think that they make any moves or anything like that. But it is just so difficult, and this is really my point here. It is so difficult to evaluate quarterbacks when they have no time to throw. Because on one hand, you'd be like John Wolford, 14 of 22, 142 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, but 5 sacks. He had an 82 rating. And people that are waking up the next morning not knowing the context, because once again, context is needed, folks. People waking up the next morning not knowing the context are like, Perkins should win this job. He should be the backup. 11 of 13. 123. 9.5 average to Wolford's 6.5. 106.1 rating. Clearly he played better than Wolford. But one, as much as I like Perkins, let's be honest here, again, context, he did not play against the starting Texans defense like Wolford did. That's the first thing. The second thing is, okay, he, in the second half, the offensive line had a chance to get better over the course of the game. Because Wolford is playing to start the game, he's with the offensive line, they're thrown into it, and right off the bat, they're playing against the top defense. They're playing up against starting defense. So, and this is not to just defend Wolford either, because I think Perkins felt the effects of this last week. But if you're looking to evaluate these two based on preseason offensive line, which really, let's be honest, no preseason offensive line is very good. I'm sorry, that would be irresponsible to do that, because it's just you need to have more than that, not just a sample size in preseason. It's a lot more to the quarterback position than that. Going through the reads, processing all of that. So I think they'll keep all three quarterbacks. I've said it. I've maintained that all throughout this. There's no way they're going to get Perkins back on the practice squad. He's not going to, survive. So they know that. And, I think John Wolford, he's another guy that wouldn't survive either. I think he'd be picked up. So I think they'll keep them both. As far as the running game goes, like I said, preseason offensive line, not really a ton to run with. Trey Regis led the crew, 6 carries, 14 yards, and a touchdown. Really nice touchdown, by the way, but he only had 2.3 yards per carry. Raymond Calais had some good runs, 3.5 yards per carry, 4 carries on 14 yards. And you had A.J. Rose. Didn't really play a lot in this game, which was interesting. 3 carries for 10 yards. John Wolford, 4 carries for 7 yards. Wolford was running for his life. Perkins did not run. He did not run much at all. 2 carries for 1 yard. So I wonder if they had that conversation with Perkins, trying to, get him to stay in the pocket. Not saying it's easy for him to do that, but, it was definitely something interesting. Jake Funk had a carry for no yards. He had a really nice decleating block. I don't know if you guys saw it. It was on the Landon Akers punt return, and he just took him right off his cleats. It was really nice block. I see here someone's mentioning, Marv, how's it going? Does anyone know how serious Bruss's knee is? I do not know. I'm going to look that up now, but I didn't see anything on it. Yeah, I didn't see anything on that. No further update per McVay. So, yeah, no further update at this point from McVay. So that's that. I've learned that we would be hurting if the starting O-line gets hurt. Our backups played bad. Again, going back to what I was saying, Dingus, yes, but also I think that these guys would be a lot better. Like an Ankrum on the starting offensive line is a lot better than Ankrum playing with a bunch of backups. I do think that they have depth. They just don't have the best depth in the league, but they don't have the worst. And that's kind of my point, moving forward on that. Brust just still needs to develop. He'll be okay. I agree with that. Twos and threes versus the Texans ones. Texans should be embarrassed. We look good to great despite some poor line play. So I'll say this. The Rams should be sending the Texans a freaking Christmas card. Okay? And here is why. The Texans are playing their starters, and these reps are just invaluable for a guy like Darion Kendrick to go up against somebody, like Nico Collins. I mean, that is just, it's outstanding that the Texans did that. Now, they didn't, they weren't trying to do the Rams any favors, but playing up against Nico Collins definitely had to help out, Kendrick, because he had not gone up against anybody like that. I mean, and yeah, he gave up the touchdown, but that was good coverage. It was a bang-bang play. It could have gone either way. So, I really like seeing that. I like seeing Lance McCutcheon. It's the same thing on the other side of the ball. I like seeing Lance McCutcheon against, what's his face? The corner, Derek Stingley. So, like I said, I know they didn't do it on purpose, but the Rams should be sending the Texans a freaking Christmas card because they got this invaluable experience. John Wolford essentially got to go up against the number one defense, the first team defense while he was with backups. So that's very important experience for Wolford. It's important experience for all these guys that were a part of that. Nice to see Jacob Harris getting involved a little bit. He had 4 catches for 24 yards. Bryson Hopkins, I thought, was very impressive. 6 catches for 41 yards, including a long of 11. He had an 11-yard reception. Austin Trammell, once again, just jumped on the scene, and he's just producing. He had 4 catches for 46 yards. Back-to-back games where Lance McCutcheon and Austin Trammell led the pack in receiving. You had Landon Akers come down with the 21-yard reception. J.J. Koski was out due to a shoulder injury he suffered in camp. So we'll see what happens with him. I didn't have him making the roster anyway, but I do feel for him that he's not going to be able to get that tape out there. Kendall Blanton, 14 yards on a reception towards the end of the game. Looks like really the Rams don't have a 2 and a 3 tight end. They have a guy in Kendall Blanton and a guy in Bryson Hopkins that I think they're going to rotate. So I don't think there's a de facto number 2 and a number 3. I think that they are going to rotate for sure. And so that's kind of my thought process on that. Nice to see Roger Carter get involved. He had a touchdown. Shout out to Deron Lowe, who forced the fumble on the punt return, who forced the touchdown. But Saturday cartoon vibes, that's hilarious. JE Live this early, giving Saturday morning cartoon vibes. Hey, it's funny. I keep forgetting. It's morning for you guys. It's noon for me. I'm going to see Dragon Ball Superhero, or whatever the hell it's called. It's Superhero, I think it is. I'm going to see that later today. So I figured let's hop on stream now. Alexis and I got an interview later. Not telling you what player is. But we do have an interview for the podcast, so we'll be recording the podcast. That'll be fun. Appreciate you guys for showing out. 91 people in here. Let's see if we can get those likes up. Would really appreciate it. And if this is something you're interested in, you like the concept of this channel, I would ask that you would subscribe to the channel. If you don't like this, you don't have to subscribe. Not forcing you to. I'm done being like, you need to subscribe. No. But if you like it, if this is something that you're digging, yeah, hit the subscribe button. Can't hurt. All right. Let's see here. Jacob Harris had a nice block at the end too. I saw that. I just finished rewatching before I went live. I saw that. That was a really nice block. I do feel like Wolford should be the 2. He made throws and reads the best he could in time he was given. I don't know how I feel. I mean, I almost wouldn't mind them rotating. If Stafford went down, God forbid, I'd like to see those 2 platooned because I don't think that there is a right answer here. I don't think Wolford is taken over as by far the better quarterback than Perkins. I think they both offer different things. So I would probably platoon them if it came to that. We learned Perkins is a playmaker who can escape sacks and get rid of the ball, and Wolford is not. I don't know if I would agree with that because I think Wolford still escaped up plenty of sacks. The offensive line was pitiful. He had 5 sacks and probably could have been sacked about 8 times in this game. So I don't know if I agree with that. I think they both can escape. They're escape artists. They both can make plays with their legs and extend the play, so that's a big deal, in my opinion anyway. And we'll, let's see here. Perkins is much faster and quicker than Wolford, so if equal arms, it's obvious. That's fair. That's definitely fair. I'm going to post this in the Discord. I forgot to do that, so I'm doing that on my iPad here. All right. And there we go. I do think they need to keep 3 quarterbacks, in my opinion. I understand you don't want to lose that 3rd quarterback, but that extra spot on the roster could go to another position of need. Oh, see, I 100% think they need to. But I get what you're saying. I don't think you can afford to lose these quarterbacks, especially with Stafford getting older. I would keep all 3 because Perkins is probably the long-term guy. I think at some point down the road, maybe in his 30s, he's competing for the Rams starting job, depending. Whereas, Wolford is on a 1-year deal. So you keep him around, but I do think you need to keep 3 quarterbacks. You need to have that for sure. What's up, SG? How's it going? Appreciate you supporting the channel, man. The Rams' number 2 defense almost shut out the Texans' number 1 offense, except for the last minute. Yeah. And it was like the no-fly zone, man. I was really impressed with the way they played. They looked really good. I'll say this. I thought the defense showed out. Like, if you want to take anything away for the defense, they really kicked ass. Really kicked ass. Big time plays out of, and I thought Robert Rochelle really took another step. He looked like another level, right? Rochelle looks the part, and we knew that, and I was a big fan. You guys remember, he was in my first mock draft last year, before the draft. So I was a big fan of Rochelle coming out, former wide receiver turned defensive back. But when you see him work, and he's going up against Nico Collins, and he's going up against these guys, I'll tell you right now, he started some games last year. He was a little bit of a liability. I think he wasn't really ready for that big of a role. But he had a peanut punch. He had a really nice PBU. This is somebody, he was attaching to guys' hip pockets and stuff. He's a very, very talented and very athletic corner. Like I said, former wide receiver in his own right. Robert Rochelle could be in for a monster season. If he actually gets thrusted into a role, Rochelle could be a problem for sure. That athleticism, he's really starting to learn how to play with, and you see it. It's very evident he belongs, so that's just the guy, moving forward that I'm really excited about. I'm sure the Rams are jumping for joy knowing that they have him long term, because Rochelle's a big time contributor for that secondary essentially. So he's going to be great long term. Like I've mentioned these guys, the 1-year deals and all that. I mentioned it with Wolford. He's on a 1-year deal. Guess who's also on a 1-year deal, or who has 1 year left on their deal? Hill. So as much as I like Troy Hill, his contract expires at the end of the season. Who knows if they bring him back? David Long. So when you factor in those 2 guys, now you have Jalen Ramsey, you have Darion Kendrick, you have Jacoby Durant, and you have Robert Rochelle. So those are your 4. And you could be 4 deep. Covering the Jets right now, I've seen that they're 4 deep. They're even 5 deep. You go out and you get Sauce Gardner, on top of already having DJ Reed and Bryce Hall and Brandon Eccles and Michael Carter II. They're 5 deep. But what I will say is I had this realization last night. The Rams secondary, the Rams corners, this is the best Rams cornerback room in McVay's time with the Rams. This is the best Rams cornerback room I've seen in recent memory. I can't remember a cornerback room that was this damn good. Because for, every Trumaine Johnson and Janoris Jenkins, you didn't have the depth. You didn't have the depth that you have now. And I understand some people are probably like, but Jake, what about Marcus Peters and Aqib Talib and Sam Shields? No. None of them were better than Jalen Ramsey, okay? They're all probably better than Troy Hill. Well, I would say Troy Hill was better than Sam Shields. Peters is really good. Talib was really good. I think Troy Hill's just a notch below, okay? But when you look at the depth, let's not forget, folks, David Long figured it out last year. He looked really good last year. He was a big contributor for them in the secondary last year. So you have David Long. On top of that, you have Robert Rochelle, who looks like he's about to take a huge step in season 2. And then on top of that, you have Darion Kendrick, who, let's be honest here, folks, I was wrong about. Like, he clearly is not a 6th-round talent. He's like a 2nd or 3rd round talent, the way he plays. You know, he's got that dog mentality. If both he and Durant were drafted in the 2nd and 3rd round, now seeing it, I would not complain because they're both that talented. And I just think that this secondary has so much depth now that they just have never really had. I understand, people will say, Talib and Peters, but I think this is the best cornerback room that they've had in recent memory. Because even the St. Louis Rams, I can't go back and think like, Dre Bly was great. Don't get me wrong, and they had guys like Dexter McCleon, who's a friend of DTR. But I don't know, man. I think that this cornerback room is the best I've seen, and it gets me excited, gets me giddy. You have the safety depth that they had. Burgess is making plays last night. Clearly doesn't need to be out there. He's going to make the team. I know some people are worried, like, why is he playing in preseason? Why is he playing deep into preseason? Not worried. This guy's making the plays. I think they're just trying to get him some reps this year. But, as far as the pass rushers, I understand people are concerned. Should they trade? Should they do this? Dude, I think this defense is totally fine the way it is. If that's not what you're looking for, I'm sorry. If you're wanting to hear me say that we should trade for Robert Quinn or somebody like that, I'm not going to. Because until the season happens, I don't know if they need to. But right now, I don't feel like they need to. I feel really good about this defense. I feel really good. And I think this is going to end up being the defense that puts Raheem Morris back into the coaching, back in the head coaching swamp. I really think he's going to be a head coach next year. This is our last year probably seeing Raheem Morris with the Rams. So I think they're going to make use of it. But I'm very excited for the possibilities of that. I am very excited about the way the defense looks, the way it's trending, and I can't stress that enough. But let's continue on here. Hoyt punched out a fumble too, but no one gave him credit. Yeah, I noticed that. I saw that. After just rewatching it, I noticed that. They gave credit to Rochelle, yeah. No idea. Where is Nolan at? At least it's preseasons. What do you think about that block by Jacob Harris toward the end? Loved it. I thought the Jake Funk block looked really good too on that. He got flagged for it, but I just don't think the referee knows the rules, apparently. Depends on the morning, man. I could go with either or, They're both great. Jake, I got to give credit to Cologne for one of the best he could with it. Yeah, here's the thing with Jeremiah Cologne. This guy's been cut so many times and he keeps coming back in the offseason. Call me crazy, but I think Cologne has a future with this team. I'm not saying he'll be the starter forever. I don't think he'll be I'm not even necessarily saying he'll be a starter, but I think this guy has, obviously the versatility to play the interior, both left guard, center, and right guard. But he's looked really good, I thought. He's been around, not a great offensive line, and he's making the most of it. So, once again, Cologne is somebody that I think is going to make this team. I switched it, my recent 53-man roster projection, I switched it to that. So, I like Cologne. We'll see what happens. Put Perkins at QB2? Maybe. I'm not arguing against Perkins or Wolford. I don't care who's there. I just want them both to be on the roster. I like them both. Do you like drinking coffee or tea? I quit drinking coffee 4 years ago. I am a tea drinker, mainly matcha. Thoughts on Bryce Perkins and John Wolford? Well, I think Bryce Perkins is the more athletic, but I think John Wolford is the more seasoned veteran because he's seen NFL regular season reps. But I think they both offer similar and different things at the same time. Perkins, the way he runs, his method of running is trying to actually, he could create yards with his legs, Whereas Wolford, he's trying to kind of improvise and still throw the ball downfield. That's probably the only difference, I think, between those two. Durant looks smooth. He did look smooth. He should have had that pick. He had a nice sack. I'm a big, big, big fan of Jacoby Durant, as you guys know. They did 4 forced fumbles are crazy. Kendrick, Rochelle, Durant played great. Felt the intensity from them. Almost 2 interceptions, pass deflections, and the peanut punch. Gotta love the peanut punch. But yeah, totally agree with you there. Had a pick in my first high school football game Thursday, Jake. That's awesome, Marco. Congrats on that. Jacoby Durant was a menace when he took off a Texans veteran helmet and didn't fall down once. O-line was horrible, and we didn't look good at the start. Yeah, O-line, kind of like what I was saying before. The O-line, it's a combination of guys that are just lower on the depth chart. Like I was saying, not necessarily everyone, but you take a Bruss or you take, Cologne or somebody like that, you put them on the starting offensive line, and they would be fine. So I'm not really worried too much about it. I got the Buffalo Bills winning over the LA Rams by a score of 52-35 at SoFi in their home opener. 52-35. You think this defense is going to give up 52 points? Bold, SG. Bold. I don't know if that's the Niner fan talking or what, but yeah, I don't know about that one. 52-35 seems like a lot. I could see 35-32, but not 52. Both defenses are much improved. I can't see that. I'd have to disagree with that take. I would take the Marcus Peters and Talib over this group. Yeah, I'm gonna disagree with you back. I'm gonna take the one that they have now. I'm very, very high in them, but it doesn't mean that team was bad by any stretch. Bruss growing pains outing. He can work on Perkins. Should be QB2. McCutcheon deep secondary. Rochelle, Darian Kendrick, Durant, Hardy playing well. Young, great talent. Quentin Lake there as well. Yeah, at this point, Ramelia, we're waiting to see Quentin Lake in action. I hope they keep him on the roster. What I could see happening is to give them a roster spot. They keep Lake on the PUP list so he can come back week 4. It gives them kind of more opportunity. Sweet, pleasant surprise that you're live right now. Appreciate that, David. I just wanted to go live. It felt bad that I didn't go live last night. I had just fallen asleep after the game, and so, I figured I made it a mission. I would go live at noon. Aeneas Williams in St. Louis was great, just older at that point. Absolutely. Rams need to pick me up. I'm a strong safety, straight ball hawk. Had 4 picks last year. Started my freshman season with a pick first game. There you go, man. Keep it up. It was great defense yesterday. Our young O-line needs work, though. Yeah, that's fair. Jack Rabbit Jenkins, all-time name, LOL, right below Dick Night Train Lane. Yeah. Was Jake Logos inspired by Jalen Ramsey's? It actually wasn't, which is surprising because I didn't realize how kind of similar they were. My logo was a combination of Goff's, and there was another one that I got inspiration from, but I hired somebody to create it. So I really like it. I think some people do. I think others, they didn't like it that much, but is what it is. Mainly they don't like the green on it, but I'm covering 2 teams on this channel, so that's the way it is. Rams haven't had secondary depth like this since those good defenses in the mid-'80s. Oh, you're talking about what's his name? Jerry Gray and, of course, Iceman, Leroy Irvin. Perkins should be QB2 every time. Look up, he's avoiding pressure, escaping sacks. I'd rather have the playmaking and escapability. Wolf can scramble, but not like Perk. I hope the Rams find a way to keep Russ Yeast. To me, it looks like he could really develop into a starting safety. Seemed like they really liked him. We'll see. Yeah, he did. He's been around for a while. Hearing Big Wit talk about the safety roster battle sounds like the Rams are looking for more from Burgess, and he's fighting for the 4th safety spot. Yeah, I really don't see that being... I think Burgess has it, but we'll see. Matcha latte, yes. Every morning I try to at least have one. I haven't had this morning, but normally that's where we're going. Didn't realize Yeast was wearing 43, looking like JJ out there. Yeah, the big hit. J.E. Noon stream. Yeah. Rare W, right? What do you think of Daniel Hardy? I like him a lot. You know, he had a really nice play where he disengaged from a block, was able to come over, and I think he got a tackle for a loss, but they didn't give it to him. I don't know, but it was a good one. Chris Canty loses all credibility with his BS take on the Rams. That was a bad take. I'm not hating on Chris Canty. I want to understand where he was going with that. Because the idea, like, if Stafford goes down, like, oh yeah, like they're not going to make the playoffs. I mean, one, I don't even agree with. Can I just say that right now? Folks, for anybody who thinks the Rams can't make the playoffs with John Wolford or Bryce Perkins at quarterback, you're minimizing the talent on this roster. I mean, this roster would be set up for any of those guys. The argument is making the playoffs here, right? Because that's what Chris Canty said. He said that the big bold prediction on ESPN, he said the Rams would not make the playoffs because Matthew Stafford's going to miss time because of his elbow. One, I've said it before and I'll say it again, the elbow stuff is media fodder. He was hurt way worse last year and played through it. And this year, he wasn't shut down. He's still throwing in training camp and practice and stuff. So I'm not worried. Okay? So those are two things. But here's the thing, okay? The idea that Matthew Stafford, he gets hurt and they're not good enough to get to the playoffs, if you want to say that he's not good enough, or the Rams aren't good enough to win the Super Bowl without Stafford, that I agree with. Although even still, there's a little part of me that believes that Wolford or Perkins could lead the Rams to the Super Bowl just because they have so much talent, and Sean McVay is a football savant. He would change what they were doing. He would find a way to get it done. Okay, that's the thing. But that's a little part of me. Going to the point, though, the Rams aren't missing the playoffs unless everyone in the starting lineup gets hurt. Because if you want to tell me that this Rams team isn't a playoff team if John Wolford or Bryce Perkins have to play, when those guys are going to be able to throw to Cooper Kupp, who just won the Triple Crown, Allen Robinson, who had 1,400 yards with Blake Bortles, Van Jefferson, who just had 800 yards, was top 7 in yards per reception, Tutu Atwell, who runs a 4.3 and who is blowing up in camp, Ben Skoranek, Cam Akers, Darrell Henderson, Kyron Williams, the tight end group with Tyler Higbee, Bryson Hopkins, Kendall Bland, Jacob Harris, Lance McCutcheon. If you want to tell me that, plus with the starting offensive line that's likely going to be a top 15 at the least offensive line in football, you want to tell me that those guys won't be able to perform with that? They won't be able to make things happen with that talent? Again, I'm not saying that they'll necessarily win the Super Bowl, but the idea that, and you guys know where I stand on Matthew Stafford. I don't think Jared Goff was winning a Super Bowl with the team last year. I think Stafford was another level, and he's a top 3 quarterback in football. But this idea that Stafford getting hurt makes them not even a playoff contender, I can't subscribe to that. I can't subscribe to that notion. Here's why, okay? The Rams, at Jared Goff's worst, got to the playoffs. They actually won a playoff game with Jared Goff and John Wolford for a little bit. I mean, why are we just you are minimizing the Super Bowl, the defending Super Bowl champions. By the way, in case you didn't know, there's only been 9 defending Super Bowl champions that have not made the playoffs, the next year in the last 30 years. What makes you think this Rams team is going to do that? I understand they have not the greatest schedule. It's tough. They play the AFC West. They'll play the Packers. They'll play Tampa. I get it. But here's the thing. Look at the NFC. You're telling me the Rams will miss the playoffs with all the talent they have because Matthew Stafford's going to miss games when there's now 7 teams in the playoffs. I mean, you literally have the Packers with Rodgers, the Buccaneers maybe with Brady. I wouldn't rule out him going back into retirement. That's not a good scenario there. Tampa fans should be absolutely terrified that he's taking time away from the team and they don't know when he's going to be back. That sounds like he's reconsidering retirement, folks. But regardless, let's say Tom Brady's back just for shits and gigs, right? It's Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Packers. Okay, so that's 2. So there's 5 more spots in the NFC playoffs, right? Okay, so let's go through the NFC West. Do you think the Cardinals are going to be better than the Rams? The Cardinals can't beat the Rams. Oh, they beat them once earlier in the year. They've lost they're 1-10 against the Rams. Okay, move on. Seattle? No. The 49ers? Maybe San Francisco. I'll put them 3. Okay, so that was 4 spots in the playoffs if we're giving San Francisco that. Let's say New Orleans. Okay, so New Orleans, you have New Orleans, San Francisco, Packers, Bucks. This is all like the scenario here. Okay, so the 4. So there's 3 spots left in the playoffs. There's going to be one that goes to probably Philly. I think they're going to win that division. Okay. Then the Vikings. So there's 1 spot left. And it's up between the Rams and who? Dallas? Do you see why I think this is absolutely ridiculous? I'm not saying that the Rams can win, they don't need Matthew Stafford, but what I'm saying is the ideology that, Matthew Stafford goes down and that justifies them not making the playoffs. I can't subscribe to that. But then again, shock value. And I like Chris Canty. I like watching him play back in the day. I actually really liked him. He played for 11 years in the NFL. I'm not, discounting how much he knows or how much he thinks he knows or whatever. But that's just a shock value statement on TV. That's all that is. Because the Rams aren't missing the playoffs unless there's catastrophic injuries. Matthew Stafford, there needs to be more of an argument for the Rams to miss the playoffs than just Matthew Stafford, right? There just needs to be more of an argument. If you were to say Matthew Stafford went down with an injury, on top of that Cooper Kupp went down with an injury, on top of that Allen Robinson, and then all of a sudden the running game, that would be more realistic with the running backs. They've had a hard time staying healthy. Aaron Donald goes down, Jalen Ramsey, okay. But now you have veered into the realm of predicting injuries, which one is really odd, and I would always avoid that because that never goes well with the mob out there. But 2, on top of that, that is not analysis. That is, honestly, it gets kind of weird because at that point, what are you hoping for that to happen so you're right? The analysis there is gone. So if you start projecting injuries, there's no way, that's not conducive to anything. That's not worth talking about, which is why we're going to stop. The Rams aren't missing the playoffs. They're more likely to win the Super Bowl than they are to miss the playoffs. You heard it here first. Get the likes up. Yes, that would be great if we could do that. And if you are enjoying this, I would invite you to also subscribe. It would help out the channel, but it also might help you out if you want more content like this. So if you are enjoying this, feel free to subscribe. If not, no worries. Not offended. What's up, brother? Sorry I'm late. No worries, Aaron. I don't think people expected me to go live at noon since I don't do this normally. But I'm going to start probably because this seems like a good time to go live, I guess, with 166 people in here. What do you think of Daniel Hardy? Will he make the team? Absolutely. 100%. Lock him in. He'll make the team. I'm not expecting Bruss to be a stud right away, but guys like Cologne, Evans, Ankrum, etc., I'm expecting them to perform better. I think Cologne is doing the best he can, being in the middle of really a trash heap. I don't mean to call these players a trash heap, but as the offensive line, a collective unit, most offensive lines in the NFL are a trash heap when you look at the preseason. So, always love your channel, but I miss your Star Wars edits. Yeah, I got copyright claims so hard for that, so I'm probably never doing that again. But I appreciate you. And I don't regret it because that kind of gave us the push that we needed, where we needed to go, right? So, yeah. Maybe I'll do YouTube shorts about it or something. I don't know, but we'll see. Perkins needs to be number 2. What's up, Jake the Snake? What's up, Michael? Daniel Hardy and Jonah Williams came to play yesterday with those beautiful sacks, although Williams almost killed a man that day. Oh, forgot to, yes, thank you for reminding me. Jonah Williams was a baller last night. He was phenomenal. Oh my God. Like, this guy has been on my roster bubble. It's so hard to decide between him and Hoyt, man. I don't think they're going to keep a bunch of defensive linemen. I don't know how you even cut any. I would not want this job because the fact that you have to cut these players, the Rams are so depth-filled, that would be so difficult for me. That would be so difficult for me. Making these cuts is going to be such a pain in the ass. It's going to be brutal. Absolutely brutal. There's so much talent the Rams have. It is apparent. Calais looked good. Love the depth we have in the running back room too. Yeah, Calais had some nice runs. I thought he had some nice runs. We didn't see much of Asim Rose, which is kind of weird. Didn't see really much of Jake Funk. Trey Regis had the touchdown, which he broke like 3 tackles. That was pretty nice. The fact the Rams' mostly backup defense was successful against a starting offense was very impressive. Drive before the half was super fluky as well. Yeah, honestly, it was. I'm not convinced his feet were even in bounds. Philip Dorsett when he got hammered on the sideline, but yeah, it was kind of a fluky drive. Although I'll say this, I do like Davis Mills, and I'm rooting for him this year. I hope he does well. He's in a shitstorm of a position, and I'm gonna say this: I feel really bad for Lovie Smith. Because Lovie Smith is literally just a placeholder. They know they're going to be bad. The organization knows that. They just want to hire Josh McCown, but they didn't have the balls to do it this year, so that's why they're doing that. I hate that for Lovie Smith. But Jonah Williams flashed a few times. If we can't keep Gaines next year, hopefully he'll keep ascending and Bobby Brown can show out this year. It's true. It's true. Yeah, Jonah Williams is pushing himself onto that 53. I had him on the practice squad, so I might have to reevaluate that. It's so difficult anyway, but yeah, I mean, we'll see if they bring back Gaines. They have a lot of talent there. Don't forget about Copeland, who's not playing at all in preseason because he's already locked in a spot. He's really moved up the rungs on that team. So, that's something to keep in mind. Let's see. We got... What's up, Jake? You think the Rams carry 8 receivers and 2 quarterbacks? I think they carry 8 receivers and 3 quarterbacks, if I'm being real. But that's how I have it. Let's see here. Gary Green, Leroy Irvin, Jerry Gray, Nolan Cromwell, Johnny Johnson, Tim Fox, Eric Harris. Very good secondary. I only think it would be hard to make playoffs with QB2 or QB3 because we have one of the toughest strength of schedule this year. That's fair. I still think they would make it. Jonah Williams balled out. He did. Absolutely did. Peter King was at Rams practice and said Stafford is still slinging it nice. I believe that because Peter King will actually say what's going on. He won't make up media fodder or anything like that. Jacob Harris had a nasty block. He did. Chris Canty trying to throw stuff against the wall like the Niners might win the Super Bowl or Rams might not make the playoffs, so he can say that makes sense. Every host was there saying Hurd, Travis Rogers, Florio, Sims, Jake. Here's the thing. Yeah. It's here's the thing. That's my saying. That's my Jakeism. Here's the thing. I didn't even know that. That's funny. Well, they say the audience knows more than you do, so I guess you guys know more than me. 162 people in here. Smash that like button like Zach Wilson smashes his friends. It's not right. It's not right. So this is a Wendy's. All right. With Jared Goff, they got to the Super Bowl. They did. But I'm talking about when I mentioned Goff, it was like the end of Goff. Like when his play was starting to falter, and they still got to the playoffs with that. Stafford's elbow is fine. As you said, he is healthier this year. 100%. Very impressed with our second string. The fact it was a competitive game against the first string is something. Perkins in all game. We win easy. I take Bryce Perkins over some starters in this league. Thumbs up. We should look to add No, I do not want Mason Rudolph. Mason Rudolph is not better than any of the guys on the roster at quarterback. Hey, how we doing? What's up, Chantry? To be fair, just about every team would be at risk of missing the playoffs if their QB1 went down. It's 9:40 here. It is 12:46 here. All right, so we're 6 minutes off the pace. I'm not doing that bad. I will say it seems like Perkins has better pocket presence than Wolford, and he's harder to take down. Jake, are we going to be able to keep both Harris and McCutcheon? I think so, but we'll see. I don't think Wolford and Perkins were the problem. I think most people would love having either of these guys as backup. Jake, who do you think our next cuts are? Do you see any surprise cuts? Yeah, so I know I said Jake Funk. He's probably going to be on the roster. I mean, it's so difficult for me to make a 53-man, so I included him. But they'll probably keep him. He really plays a good special teams. He absolutely leveled that guy. That they, miscalled a blindside block when he's literally blocking the guy like this. I don't know. Some of these are bizarre. But, yeah, so in case you guys missed it, I have a video on the channel that supports it, but I'll just, read it off real quick. My preseason game 2 53-man roster was Stafford, Wolford, Perkins at quarterback. I had Akers, Hendo, and Kyron at running back. I had them keeping 8 receivers and cutting Landon Akers, Trammell, and Koski. Man, Trammell better be on the practice squad. I love that guy. That dude, he catches everything. I really like him. Higbee, Blanton, Bryson at tight end. Then you got Noteboom, Edwards, Allen, Shelton, Havenstein with Jackson, Cologne, Bruss, and Ankrum. I did have the Rams cutting Bobby Evans, Chandler Brewer, Max Percher, A.J. Arcuri, and Jack Snyder. Defensive line, I had them keeping Aaron Donald, Ashawn, Gaines, Copeland, and Hoyt. This is last week, so keep that in mind. Ernest Brown, Jonah Williams, Elijah Garcia, and T.J. Carter got cut. And then on my my outside linebackers, I had them keeping everybody except for Benton Whitley, Keir Thomas, and Braden Thomas, who all would be very possible to be on the practice squad. All 3 of them are interesting in their own right. Then the inside linebackers, you got Wagner, Jones, and Roseboom. Roseboom did not play yet again last night, so he's clearly locked in. They're not going to not let him, play for his job if he's already, So, yeah, he's locked in. I do have Gervais, I do have Hummel, and I have Hines missing the team. But I like all 3 of them, and I think all 3 of them are potential practice squad guys. Corner, I have the Big 6. I'm just going to call them the Big 6. Big Hero 6, whatever you want to call them. The 6-pack, the top 6, like that gang rap group top 6 or whatever. I'm just going to call them that because that's what they are. This is the top 6, Big Hero 6, whatever you want to call them. Ramsey, Hill, Durant, Rochelle, Long, and Kendrick. And I do have them cutting Duron Lowe, Grant Haley, Tyler Hall, and TJ Carter, but I literally like all 4 of them. I think all 4 of them would be practice squad potential. Duron Lowe had himself a game. He saved a touchdown. He created a touchdown. Yeah, he was really good. Grant Haley did not really play that much. I don't think I saw him in this game, so that was kind of interesting. Could they keep 7 corners? Could they keep Grant Haley? I don't know, but we'll see. Safeties. Nick Scott, Jordan Fuller, Terrell Burgess, Taylor Rapp, and Quentin Lake is what I had. Now I kind of feel like, Quentin Lake, if he doesn't come back for next week, he's probably going to stay on the PUP list, and they'll, maybe add him to the roster later on in the year when the season starts. And then obviously the special teams unit, we already know. Matt Gay, Riley Dixon, Orzek. Dixon's all right. I don't think he's a great punter, but he's okay. I would rather have Cameron Dicker, if I'm being honest, but that's just me. So, yeah. I remember the days when Lovie Smith helped our defense lead the league in turnovers, how time flies. Yeah. Favorite Perkins play last night was his will to get to the pylon, hurdling a guy again. Love this kid. Oh, yeah, love him too. He's great. I will say, and I need to say this because, I see people that are asking me. I will answer any and all questions. I know it's JE Live, but it is a post-game type of JE Live. These I want more geared to the questions. So if you ask me questions that aren't necessarily geared to, like, the Rams and stuff, I'm probably not going to answer them, if I'm being honest. I want it to be geared towards the Rams 2022 Not really about what I had for breakfast. With all due respect, I'm not trying to hate on anybody, but it's not a Q&A, JE Live. I am doing Q&A, but I'd like it to just stick to the Rams just because this is really what we're talking about. I don't mean to be a jerk. I'm just, I'm probably not going to answer your question if you're asking me about food and stuff. Even though I love food, I'm just trying to keep it Rams-centric. Because, keep in mind, when we're doing these that are about the Rams post-game, there are people that are going to wake up, if they haven't already, maybe the late sleepers, whatever, don't judge. They wake up, they're going to watch this, and maybe they didn't watch the game last night, and this is their way of, keeping up with what happened. And so I want to keep it, more Rams-centric, if that makes sense, in these specific live streams. You'll know when it's more open, but I'm just letting you know, because I like to let people know why I'm not answering their comment and stuff. Travis Rogers always be like along the way. I think I've noticed that too. Call up the retired Ryan Fitzpatrick if needed later in the season. That'd be interesting. What's up, Ray? Yeah, I like Trammell. Trammell is a dog, man. He gets the ball. He's gonna try to make a play. He always has a nose for where the first down marker is, the chains. I like him. I mean, is he going to make the roster? No, they're not going to keep 9 receivers. They might not even keep 8 receivers, but he's got to be on the practice squad because that guy can play. And if there are injuries and they called him up with Stafford, he could make an impact. He'd be like having Danny Amendola when Stafford was throwing Amendola in Detroit. I like him a lot. And you know why? Because, I mean, let's be honest here. This guy just joined the Rams a couple weeks ago. He's coming out there and he's balling out the way he is. Back-to-back weeks where he's top 2 in receiving on the team in preseason. I mean, this is a good player. He can play. The good news is he's not a UDFA, so he's not fresh, and he hasn't blown up in preseason. You and I would know that because you're watching the games, but I don't think other teams are necessarily going to know. I think they'll be able to sneak him on the practice squad. Thanks, SG. Appreciate you. Pick 2 games I should watch at 4 out of these 3. San Francisco, Minnesota, Pittsburgh, Jacksonville, Vegas, Miami, not watching Tampa Bay, Tennessee till later. 2 games? All right. Sorry if you can hear my dog. Coda's trying to get involved in the show, apparently. I would say Pittsburgh versus Jacksonville. We already know they're going to play Trevor Lawrence. They did it last week. Kenny Pickett, so I like that. And then I'll probably go with San Francisco, Minnesota. Trey Lance and, maybe get to see a little of the quarterback. I'm totally forgetting his name. Kellen Mond of Minnesota. So for me, it's always about the quarterbacks. If it's not a team that I'm into, if it's not the Rams, it's not the Jets, the 2 teams I'm covering, then I'd like to see a nice quarterback, duel. So I'd say San Francisco, Minnesota, and Pittsburgh versus Jacksonville. Yeah. I know if we cut Perkins, he would get claimed. Do you think we could cut Wolford and not have him claimed? That's an interesting take there, Ashton, because I don't think this is necessarily... We don't know, right? I don't think it's a guaranteed no. I don't think it's a guaranteed yes, and here's why. Because while everyone would think, okay, Perkins, he doesn't have any NFL experience in regular season, whereas, Wolford does. He won an NFL game, and teams know that, right? He even he started a playoff game, albeit he wasn't around that long, but he did. This is the argument against that. Wolford's older. Okay, he's not a younger quarterback like Perkins. He's a little bit older. I believe he's 27, 28. I could be wrong. Perkins is 25. I'm going to look up John Wolford's age right now. Let's see. He is... Oh, he's 26. Oh, yeah, I don't know. He's 26. Perkins is 25. It seems a little difficult to keep both... sneak both of them from the practice squad. So I'll say this. Yeah, I thought he was older. So since he's 26, I'm going to say he would get claimed too. I think the Jets would claim him. He was on the Jets. I think they'd claim him. They'd consider it, at the very least. With the Raiders cutting Kenny Young, would you bring him back up? as much as I like Kenny Young, there's no roster spot for him. I don't even know if there's a roster spot for Traven Howard now. Their roster is so jam-packed that I don't even think he'd make the team. So I'm going to have to say no. He does. He does. Yeah, he's got more upside than Menisco. He definitely does, for sure. Yeah, no, he didn't. And it's another one of those things, like, it's just too hard to evaluate these quarterbacks. They just don't have the same offensive line and all that. So, oh, if Trey Lance isn't playing today, then who asked me the question? Aaron Jones. Yeah, watch Vegas and Miami. If Trey Lance isn't playing today, there's not really a point of watching that, in my opinion. That's just my thoughts. Unless you like Kellen Mond. Wolford was sacked 5 times in the first half. Do you think it was more his fault or the O-line? I think it's a combination because, I mean, Perkins was still getting pressure and just breaking tackles, not getting sacked. So it's a combination for sure. I like Wolford's game. You know, I think it's methodical. I like the way he moves, you know. So they were, yeah. Hands down going to be the hardest roster cut I've seen. There's unfortunately no way the Rams aren't going to cut a minimum of 1 to 2 players we all think should keep, but a good problem to have. That's good. It means that your roster's getting better. Thanks, SG. What's up, Holden? How's it going, man? Hope you enjoyed last night. Bruss is struggling. He's not as far along as I thought, but it's okay. They're going to play the slow game with him. It'll be Coleman Shelton at right guard, and that's totally fine. Players to watch next week, I don't know exactly who's going to play, but I think it's going to be Kyren Williams. I think you got to watch Bryce Perkins because I think he's definitely going to get a run. They probably just wanted to get Wolford some opportunity. They saw him get sacked a bunch of times. They're probably not going to play him next week. So Bryce Perkins, you got Kyren Williams. I want to see Jonah Williams again. I'll say, I mean, I didn't see Grant Haley, so I don't know if he played or not. Maybe I just missed him, but you know, see the rookies a little bit more. Those are guys to watch. And Benton Whitley. I really like him. I really like Whitley. So that's what I'll say. And McCutcheon, because, like, I mean, dude's must-see TV right now. Like, he had 2 touchdown performance the game before. Then he goes for 96 yards this game. So he has to make the team. There will be, like, an outcry if he doesn't. Wolf might get cut. I don't know if he's going to get cut. Yeah, I don't know about that. I think, I think when you look at what Bryce Perkins brings to the table, I mean, like, the thing is, I thought Wolford was older, and we just uncovered that he's 26 and Perkins is 25. So it's not something where I think, like, you know, he's going to get cut or anything like that. I think they both offer a lot. I think they should keep all 3. There's no point of not keeping 3 quarterbacks, especially with all the media fodder about Stafford's elbow. If it's actually any, you know, if there's any substance to that, I mean, then you have to keep 3 quarterbacks, right? So, you know, that's kind of how I look at that. Why did McCutcheon go undrafted? Was it because he is a small school prospect? So after the whole COVID thing, a lot of these guys, you know, had a hard time getting noticed. And I've noticed that since, like, the whole COVID outbreak and, you know, teams getting their season shut down and all of that, I think you've noticed more and more and more that teams are sticking with, you know, the FBS programs, you know, the Division I programs, like the big FBS programs. And you're starting to see that. You know, it's not to say that the FCS teams, you know, the FCS players aren't getting drafted, but you're starting to see that, you know, since that whole COVID thing, you're more likely seeing an Alabama guy get drafted than a Montana State guy get drafted, right? So, you know, I think that's part of it. But, I mean, he wasn't ultra fast or anything like that, but I do think the film showed him. Like, I had him as a draftable prospect. I'm going to I got to look it up right now because I did grade him. And I don't know off the top of my head, you know, where I graded him, but I want to find it. So I'm going to look that up now, and I'll let you know where I had him in my list of receivers. Because I did like him. I remember I put a star next to his name. I did like him. I don't know where I had him graded. But I did like him, so that's something there. But let's see if I can find it. We got 2022 draft board. All right. Lance McCutcheon. Okay. So I had him as wide receiver 36, which, I mean, it might seem like that's really low, but that's not bad. And that came out to be a 6th-round grade for me. So, same with Jake Hummel. The Rams got a guy that I felt was, a 6th-round talent. Now, is he better than a 6th round? Yeah, it looks that way. The guys that I have rated ahead of McCutcheon, I mean, he's played a lot better than, but I had McCutcheon graded as a possible starter someday. That was my grading system. I had him listed as a possible starter someday. So, I think that COVID kind of pushed him out, pushed guys with the lower tier schools by name out, and that's why, to answer your question. But that's a great question. Why would somebody like that go undrafted? I wouldn't have had him go undrafted because I am in the 6th round, but that's how I had it. So, hope that answered your question. Thought I heard that last night. At this point, just trade them. You're not going to get enough for that, in my opinion. So, John Wolford is the same age as me. I am also 26. His birthday is on October 16th, 1995, and my birthday is on October 18th, 1996, which is really cool. And my birthday is on October 11th, 1995, so that means I'm actually older than John Wolford by 5 days. God, that doesn't make me feel good at all. I'm older than John Wolford by 5 days. Crazy. And I'm older than you, SG, by, a year and 7 days? Crazy. Rank these backup quarterbacks: Wolf, Perk, Keenum, Clemens, Davis, Mannion. All right. So we're going to go with the first backup quarterback. We're going to give Keenum whoa, you put Austin Davis in there. That's bait, man. You know where I'm going with this. I think Austin Davis was better. So, Davis, Keenum, Wolford, Perkins, Clemens, Mannion. That's how I have it. I like the move to wide receiver, and he could still play tight end if they want him to, so it's not a big deal. But I like that they're focusing him on wide receiver. Appreciate you, Samurai, for donating. Always appreciate that. Trey Regis could be the other running back we need. He has power. We're going to need it after losing Sony Michel. Thoughts? I don't know. I mean, I thought Rose showed more, honestly. But if Regis is on the practice squad, I'm not against that, But yeah, I don't think they'll keep him unless it's on the practice squad. Jacob Harris looks to be getting the ball, the bailout routes, then the money routes. He's not stretching a defense on his routes. He's being kept underutilized, in your opinion? Maybe they're just trying not to overuse him in preseason since they actually view him as a contributor during the regular season. That's a thought. I don't know for sure, but that could be something. Something to keep in mind. Something to monitor. Let's see here. We saw Brian Allen get way better over time. I think we can see Bruss to seal. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, Brian Allen was pitiful in preseason, but it was based on who he's around, So, didn't Bruss leave the field with a knee injury? He did, unfortunately. Very unfortunate, but he did. Kendrick plus Durant are exciting AF. Yes, they are. Ben, I agree with you. I'm very excited for them. I'm late, and I know you probably discussed this, but if you did, could you briefly give your thoughts on Durant and Kendrick? Yeah, I really, really like what those two bring. I think Kendrick offers more versatility as far as he can play inside, he can play outside. I really like, Kendrick predominantly on the outside. I like how physical they both are. I think Kendrick's probably the better not corner, but he's the better tackler because I think that's one thing. If you want to take anything away from Jacoby Durant, like his, the negatives is that he's a bit of an ankle biter. He's not really a wrap guy, whereas I feel like, Durant will wrap up guys. So that's kind of my thoughts on that. But McCutcheon over Harris. Maybe. McCutcheon's already done more than Harris has done in 2 years. Keep in mind, in preseason. So I know it's just preseason, but it's worth mentioning. I would prefer Perkins over Wolford. That's fair. Thanks for that, Jake. I'm included in those who didn't watch. Absolutely. Just trying to be a man of the people. You know how it is. What's going on, Jake? What's up, Kareem? Young corner shine again. The O-line was bad. I know it's only preseason, but our O-line depth doesn't look good. Yeah, it's one of those things, I'm just going to talk you off a ledge with the O-line real quick. It's one of those things where, yeah, it doesn't look good, but think about those guys isolated on the starting offensive line, except for Bobby Evans. I don't think he'd be good anywhere, honestly. He's played himself off the roster, in my opinion. I just don't think he's it. Unfortunately, I wanted him to be good, and just doesn't look like he's going to. But if you put Bruss, alongside, in between Brian Allen and Rob Havenstein, do you think he plays as bad as he did last night? No. If you put Cologne in the middle, in between Coleman Shelton and David Edwards, do you think he plays as bad as he did last night? I don't think he played that bad last night, but no, I think he's better. Do you think Alaric Jackson at left tackle is better next to, Chandler Brewer, or is he better next to David Edwards, the starter? I think he's better next to David Edwards. You see my point? So it's hard for me to really get a full evaluation of that because it's these guys, all 5 of them, the collective unit, yeah, they struggled, but am I really that concerned? No, I am not. If that answers that question. Skoranek and Atwell seem to have a spot secured. Well, while I'd hate to see McCutcheon not make the team for one of those improved guys, yeah, I really would hate to see McCutcheon not make the team. But Skoranek offers so much in special teams, and they really like him as a receiver. And then, they have Atwell, of course, who they spent a second-round pick on, who I think has, massive upside. He could be like a Tyreek Hill type of guy if they give him the opportunity to. Bingo J, COVID is the reason why so many quarterbacks are coming out next year. A lot of the guys transferred and stayed due to COVID. Facts. Fullback still exists in the NFL. LA Chargers signed Xander Horvath, fullback from Purdue. I know they exist. I'm just saying that they're not very common, and there's not a need for one in Sean McVay's offense. Because I know, Willie, you are the fullback guy. I'm telling you, Sean McVay has 11 personnel. He doesn't want to run the ground and pound fullback Jeff Fisher ball. Do you think Perkins has a chance to be the backup this year, and what does that mean for Wolford? I wouldn't rule it out. But I think right now they'll really like Wolford as the backup. So I think they'll both make the team. I like Regis too. I'm late, but how do you say you felt about McCutcheon? I really like McCutcheon. I don't think there's any argument you can make to not keep him on the roster. I will say, for those of you that didn't see the game, they were going down the field. Perkins was leading them down to win the game in the final seconds, and McCutcheon did fumble. So in the effort of being fully transparent with what's going on and not just, being a Lance McCutcheon fan account, so to speak, I do have to mention he did fumble. But does that change my opinion about him? Not at all, So that's kind of my thoughts on that. But McCutcheon had over, 90 yards yesterday. He was really good. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. He was really good. Besides the fumble, which sucked, I'm not worried about it. 5 catches, 96 yards. He averaged 19.2 yards per reception, which would probably lead the league in all qualified wide receivers this year. It's hard to get 19.2 yards per reception. So if he were to do that every game, that would be freakish. Obviously, I wouldn't expect him to, but once again, 5 catches on 6 targets. The guy's reliable. The guy makes plays. He spun out of a tackle. He, moves the chains. He goes up and high points the football. He brings a lot to the table that the Rams just don't have, and they wouldn't have. Like, if they didn't get Allen Robinson, Lance McCutcheon would be in a league of his own. Think about it. If Lance McCutcheon doesn't make it on the starting team than put him on the practice squad. Yeah, but in order to do that, Willie, and this is where it becomes hard, they would have to cut him, have him go through waivers, which means all 31 teams besides the Rams would also be able to, I guess, claim him, but that would be kind of weird because they cut him. Anyway, all other 31 teams would have a chance to claim him. And the order it would go in is by the draft order. So if you want to, you want to claim him, you want to cut him and, assume he could get through that, be my guest. But let's bring up the 2022 NFL draft order real quick. Okay, so let's look at this. The NFL draft order, the Jaguars. Jaguars could absolutely get McCutcheon. The Lions could get McCutcheon. Houston just saw him. So this is actually the reason here. The Jets are another concern there because the Jets could use the help there at that position. Chicago would be 7th in the waiver order. So if Chicago's 7th in the waiver order, look at their receivers. They're hurting. I mean, he's not getting out of that top 10. So you cut him. He's going to be one of the top claim guys. I would probably think half the league would put a claim in on for him. So the Texans, who just saw him go up against their 3rd overall pick and win, I think they'd be the favorite. They'd be 3rd in the pecking order. If you think that he can get through waivers, I'm sorry. I don't think you're understanding the value that this guy has, in my opinion anyway. '49ers fan here. You are like our version of Eric Crocker who streams '49ers content and bet on Bleacher Report. Would you be open to being a guest on his show during the week '49ers and Rams play? Absolutely. Sign me up. I've talked to Eric. Eric has been on the show. He's been on Downtown Rams, the podcast. I would love to. So, I don't know if you do the booking or if he does or whatever, but I'm in. Anytime. Love Eric. He's a good dude. Let's see here. I feel like Lance has to make the 53-man. He already looks like... Yeah. I mean, he's at least the 5th best receiver on the team. Because I think he's better than Skoranek. Okay? I do. I'm not against cutting Skoranek. I know there's a lot of people that just want him gone. I think you can keep all 8 receivers. But I think he's better than Skoranek. I don't think he's better than Atwell. Maybe as a pure receiver, but I still think Atwell's more valuable. So he'd be 5th, because I think he's better than Powell. I think he's better than Harris so far. I mean, he'd be 5th for me. What's up, Brett? Yeah, a lot of positives from yesterday. I agree. Definitely agree with that. Kendrick plays a lot faster than his 40 time. Definitely agree with that. McCutcheon over Ben Skoranek. I agree with that. Starting the last year of my 20s tomorrow, but what better way to start it than with House of the Dragons, also playing Madden 23 franchise. Gross, I know. Going to develop the young guys into stars. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to get another Madden game. I don't think so, but we'll see. Maybe things will change, but as of right now, I'm just not feeling it. I also haven't played video games in so long. That's why I don't stream them that much. I mean, we're balls to the wall on YouTube now. Like, right now, this is, like, it's the season. It's back. To have streams where you have a bunch of people in them again, like, that's how you know football season's back. So, I can't take any breaks. That's why when I fell asleep after the game last night and I didn't go live because I passed out and I wasn't able to honor what I said I was going to bring, I didn't provide the service I promised to the audience, I was like, there's no excuse. I got to go live at noon, and that's why I'm live at noon. Or, well, now it's not noon anymore. Now it's 1:15. But, yeah, today's been great, though. And, man, I probably shouldn't give away my trade secrets, but if anyone is trying to grow on YouTube and you're not using YouTube Shorts, you're not doing it right. The thing is broken, man. Let me just take you through this. I'm just looking at these. These are insane, and I'll go back to answering comments in a sec. But these are just nuts. Guys, anyone in here can start a YouTube channel today and start posting YouTube shorts because they're pushing it like crazy. They're trying to combat with TikTok, and you will grow. I understand it's easy for me to say because I have a lot of, followers on here, a lot of subscribers. But I've generated 70 subscribers today alone. And a lot of that's because of YouTube Shorts. I posted Raheem Morris's reaction to a sack last night. I posted it this morning. It has 31,000 views. 31,000. I posted the Bryce, what was it? Not Bryce Perkins. Jacoby Durant. It's got 2,000 views. Like, I just posted that. Lance McCutcheon, 1,000 views. Robert Rochelle, 1,000 views. Trey Regis, the touchdown score, 1,000 views. Roger Carter, 1,000 views. I mean, guys, for the love of God, if you are trying to start a YouTube channel, you got to get involved in shorts. I'm telling you, the boat, you are going to miss the boat. And I want to see everyone succeed. That's, a big thing of mine. So I'm just telling you right now, giving away the trade secrets, although it's not much of a secret. Start using YouTube Shorts, make your account, whatever. Start using it, posting 15-second content clips up to 60 seconds. Add hashtags, 3 relevant hashtags. Add tags. So go back when you post on your phone, go on a computer, add the tags. Okay. So you add the tags in there, you put what it's about, and then boom. It doesn't have to be sports. It doesn't have to be fashion. It doesn't have to be anything media. It can literally be anything. I urge you, do it. Just do it. Just take it from me. I've literally grown. I have 70 subscribers today alone. Before noon, I know it's past noon now, but I had over 70 before noon, before we went live, because of 15-second clips. Oh, and this is my favorite part. You ready for this? These analytics tell the story. So Raheem Morris, this video that got 31K, okay, and it's somewhat tailed off a little bit, right? It's slowing down, but it exploded in the first hour. It got 207 views in the last hour or so it's still doing well. 91.8% of those views came from the Shorts feed. That means those are people that aren't even subscribed to this channel. And that means new people, new eyes on my channel. 70 subscribers. Only, let's see here. 0.2% came from people that are subscribed to my channel. Do you not see how you can grow from that? Think about it. It's massive. I mean, they are pushing it out like crazy. 91% to randos, people that had never seen my stuff. And now I'll share a little info with you. The head of product development for YouTube comes out, and he says that they are actually working on a way, and this will come out soon. They are going to allow people like myself, content creators like myself, that get viewers on their shorts. And this is a quick little thing. I'm going to be done with this in a sec. I just want to help people out, let you know. So on YouTube Shorts, if you click on my shorts, if you hit the thumbs up, or even if you watch for at least 5 seconds, when this is implemented, my long-form content will now be showcased in the recommended section of those people that watched my short-form content. That is astronomical growth. That means so much. It is the best platform to get involved in right now. I'm telling you. All right. TED Talk over. But I'm very excited because I feel like I broke the algorithm, and it makes me feel very good. Anyway. Texans played their defensive starters for more than a half. We played second and third strings the entire time. Yeah, it's crazy, right? You hear AD and Havenstein got into a fight at practice, loving the high-energy atmosphere this early in the year. Only football fans love fights, man. It's crazy. Guys get into fights in training camp, and they're like, yes, let's go. Absolutely, Ashton. Appreciate you. Let's see here. I'm confused with what the Rams are considering with Burgess. He played terribly last week. Did he play the full game yesterday? What do you think? I don't think he played terribly. So what ended up happening is that was on Rochelle. He came for the underneath route, and Burgess had to go and help at the top of the route. So it was actually a miscommunication. It was on Rochelle because he dropped to the underneath route. He let his guy go, and that's why he beat him over the top, right? That's not on Burgess. So Burgess did not play that bad. Everyone's just hitting him over the head because of that one play, which in reality, it wasn't even his fault. That's the first thing. The second thing is he's fine. They're getting him opportunities and everything, and, he's totally fine. So, I'm not worried about Burgess. He's going to make the team. They're just trying to get him reps. That's how I look at it. Draft pick or not, Lance could that find that is better than some of their receiver special teams can be played by others. Ben is a good special teams guy. Agreed. Yeah, he is. That's true. So many teams would pick up McCutcheon off waivers immediately, 100%, and the Texans would be right at the top. McCutcheon, Hopkins, Calais showed out last night. If Bryson Hopkins improved his blocking, he'd be a really solid tight end. I think he's improved. I mean, he's got to get better, sure, but I think he's definitely a lot better than he was when he first came in the league, which is what you got to ask for. McCutcheon is not hitting waivers, people. I don't see it. We would beat the Texans in the season. I would hope so. I am, yes. Very much looking forward to that. With all this competition at wide receiver, are we less likely to see OBJ re-signed? I wouldn't say less likely. I really wouldn't. Because the way I look at it is OBJ can, he can sign, yeah, but he's not going to be on the active roster until later on in the year. He'll be in November. That still gives you opportunity to make the roster decisions now. And the recency bias right now, it's like the market. Think of it as the stock market. Right now, if you're looking, Lance McCutcheon's stock was here, and now it's way up here. So as the season progresses, and it's up here, and he's not playing, well, guess what it's going to do? It's going to tail down, and everybody's going to forget about him. So if it gets to November, he hasn't played, everyone's forgotten about him, and OBJ is healthy, now you could probably sneak him onto the practice squad because there's no more recency bias. His stock went down, and now you could take advantage of that by, essentially buying the lower stock. That's how that works. But if you try to get him through waivers now, his stock's up here. Everyone's buying that. No one's going to let that shit go by. Nah. So that is how I would have that approach. Yeah, we have some awesome Niner fans in here for sure. Really, really good Niner following. I try to give out good advice every now and then. Hopefully I do a good job. It seems like I do, just based on what your comments are. Kareem, Jake, you just convinced me on starting a YouTube. Haha, I have. That's awesome. I love that. Oh, I love that. I have an Instagram account with 2K followers where I post Cardinals minor league highlights analysis. Might as well post it on YouTube and TikTok. Dude, absolutely. You'll explode. That stuff is valuable. You got to do that. 100%. 100%. And I think what was really cool is when you can start posting shorts content, then even if you're just a shorts creator, you can at least have the internal discussion in your mind whether or not you want to continue, to make more content, whether it's long form or live streams. It gives you that option. Because if you start putting out shorts content, you're getting watch time. And if you don't believe me, you need like X amount of watch time. You need like 400 watch time hours, I think, to get monetized, right? So you get the monetization at 1,000 subscribers and 400 watch hours. Well, guess what? Okay, this watch time thing is not as hard as people think. Because while, yes, okay, shorts, you're like, oh, it's only 14 seconds. My watch time is 122 hours. 122 hours for Raheem Morris's video at 14 seconds. So I would just need, 4 more of these videos or 3 more of these videos to hit that and then get 1,000 subscribers. I got 70 today just off this one short. So, yeah, I mean, I would make short form content and then just take advantage and then get monetized and then start making long form content, break up the long form content into more short form content, you know? And it's just a never ending thing. Kareem, let me know if you ever need any help with that. You can DM me and we can discuss that. I also have a mentorship program if anyone's interested. It's $100 a month on the YouTube channel. I'm trying it out, see if anyone's interested. I'll basically going to be your coach. So if anyone is down for that, you just sign up for the membership on YouTube, and it's like that's how you do it. Jake, shorts are cool and all, but great content carries the day for me. Your long content on the Rams and your Q&A are the best I found on the web. Steve, I absolutely appreciate that, and I agree with you. It's why I'm pushing shorts, because I'm pushing shorts to eventually push to my long-form content. I am not just a shorts creator, although I make a ton of shorts. But I put out shorts of like highlights and stuff for people that don't get a chance to see those highlights. I'll also put stuff of like, my commentary and whatnot and micro content from my live streams. But that stuff, make no mistake about it, this is all to direct to my long form content, because this is the one thing about shorts. Unless it absolutely blows the hell up, you're not going to make a lot of money, right? That's the only downside. But the upside here is it's not all about the money, because if you are generating subscribers and views, then you're building your channel to the point where now you can start making long form content and going live, and people can donate and you could be monetized. And so you're getting donations, and on top of that, you're getting YouTube ad revenue. And so that is how that works. So you have to turn the short form content into the long form content and get that gain if you want to start, making money off that for anybody. That not just Kareem there, but literally anybody. That's how I would do it. So to your point, Steve, yes, it's all done. It's all by design. I put the short form content out there when I don't have time to go live, or if I'm working on videos and they're not going to be out in time, or if I don't have a video scheduled that day. You can chew on the short form content for a little bit, because I know I'm going to have to come back and step up my game and go into the long form. So that's how that works. Appreciate you, Guy. I'm glad you're enjoying the show. Jake, what did you think about Daniel Hardy's performance so far? I really like Daniel Hardy. I like the athleticism. It stands out. I like the fact he's able to disengage blocks, but I also like his pass rush plan. This is a guy that's a little higher, I think, than people realized. That floor, at least, is a little higher. The ceiling is astronomical. I mean, this guy could be a 15-sack guy if they know how to really develop him, but the floor is a lot bigger than I thought, and so that is really the good thing about Daniel Hardy, is that I think his floor is a lot higher than people realize. If I can't even talk. If YouTube implements that new feature properly, that's going to be massive to the channel, along with the TikTok views. You'll be hitting 20,000 subs real quick, if not 50,000. Believe that. 100%, Alex. That's the point, is that right now, in preseason, the actual NFL regular season hasn't started yet, and guess what these numbers are, okay? I now have 80 subscribers today, so I've added 10 subscribers since I started talking. Oh, I actually just lost one. All right. Someone probably didn't like what I had to say. Whatever. Happens. I have 70,000 views in the last 48 hours. This is 70,000 views. Keep in mind, I didn't get a chance to take advantage of last night. I didn't do a live stream right after because I fell asleep. I didn't do a post. I didn't do a pregame. I didn't do a watch party. I didn't do a video. And it's at 71,000 views since in the last 48 hours. That's incredible. This is what I'm talking about. So, this thing implemented is going to be massive for the brand. It's going to be massive for the channel, because it's going to push more people. It's going to push this out to more people. Because just, if you click on my short and you like it and you hit the thumbs up, now I'm going to be in your recommended. And now I'm around. That's how you're going to start growing. So, very excited for that. I'll say this. I don't think the Rams' social media uses shorts enough. They only have 80,000 subscribers. I'm going to look it up right now. But if the Rams YouTube channel used shorts more, then they would absolutely be like, they'd be killing it. I'm not saying they're doing a bad job, but, if I was their social media content coordinator, they're at 90,000 subscribers, which is good, but they could be at a lot more. They just don't make enough short-form content. They make some. Like, here's one here. They've made, what? 2 in the last 10 days? That's not enough. 2 in the last 10 days. Like, you got to make more than that. You got to make multiple a day. Thing with YouTube that people don't understand is if you make, like, say you get 70,000 in a week, you get 70,000 views, you're getting 140,000 the next week. You're automatically doubling, essentially. Because now YouTube knows. They'll recommend you because you've already done well by them, so they'll do well by you. That's how that works. Let's see. Yeah, what's your Instagram, Kareem? I'll give you a shout out on here. Cardinals prospects. Any Cardinals fans out there, or any fans of Kareem? He's been on the channel for a while. Always in the comment section. Go give my guy a follow on Instagram. Cardinals prospects. Absolutely. What do I think about Josh Hader? I mean, he's a hell of a pitcher, but man, he's been struggling with the Padres from what I've seen. So, he did have his man on lock the whole time. DK, yeah. It's funny. I have not gotten used to Darion Kendrick being DK. I just have not gotten used to that. I keep thinking of DK Metcalf, but you know. Well, guys, I think we're getting to the natural end of this stream. I hate leaving streams when I have triple-digit people in here. I don't want to leave, but I think it makes sense to. I don't want to ramble on. I want to keep this. It's not really short and concise because it's an hour and 30. But I want people to be able to chew on this. You know, watch this after the fact. If you didn't get to watch the preseason, if you're watching this after this has already been, live and everything, thank you for watching it. But I want to, keep it open for them, so I'll do that. What's up, C.S. Wilson? Hi, Jake. I think A.J. Arcuri stayed on his blocks very well last night. That's why Kenny Walker ran behind him all that time at Michigan State. Not seeing a pathway for OBJ. I don't know if I agree with that. Thank you, Eric. You too. So, yeah, that's going to be it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, the Rams fell to the Texans 24-20, but once again, it's preseason. It doesn't really matter. Thoughts you saw some good things. Big ups to Wolford, Perkins for doing what they did behind those offensive lines. Big ups to McCutcheon almost going for 100 yards. And big ups to Jonah Williams for absolutely dominating the defense. Big ups to the no-fly zone because that's what they were. The secondary was incredible. And, that's what I'll say. So, good stuff to see the Rams being able to operate at that level. The backups against the number one team, the first team starters for the Texans. That's a really big deal. So, big shout out to them. Guys, before we head on out of here, I'm going to ask if you could please hit the thumbs up. I'd love to get to over 100 before I head on out of here. That would be a really nice ending point here. So, when this does become a video, that would be really nice to have over 100. So if you guys on your way out could hit the thumbs up button, we're at 94 likes. Would really appreciate. We're at 110 viewers. So if you haven't already, just hit that thumbs up button, the like button, whatever you want to call it. It just does wonders for the channel. And if you enjoyed it, then you're just basically letting YouTube know, and you're letting me know that you enjoyed it. Because I don't know that you enjoyed it until you hit that thumbs up button. Keep that in mind. If you like a video, goes not just for me, for any content creator on here. If you don't hit the thumbs up button, no one knows if you actually like the video. So, yeah. It's like voting. It's like you vote with your dollar, you vote with your thumb on YouTube. Remember that. I could see how that sound a little weird, but anyway. That's going to do it for me. I'll see you guys soon, and you guys take care until next time. I'm Jake Ellenbogen. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at JKBogan. Be sure to subscribe, like, and comment if you enjoyed this live stream or this video if you're watching after the fact. And be sure to check out my TikTok at JKBogan as well if you're a Rams fan. I also have a brand, a company, Downtown Rams, at Downtown Rams on Twitter. It's all Rams. So if you don't like any of the things in between on this channel, head on over to Downtown Rams on Twitter. Follow them. Head on over to Downtown Rams on TikTok, at Downtown Rams. And on, of course, Instagram, since our Instagram got hacked, you can follow us at Downtown Rams, or at the Downtown Rams as well. That's it. That's a lot of plugs. I'm done. You guys take care, and I will see you guys soon. Later.